It's Evelyn with Magellan College Counseling, and I'm here with one of the newer counselors on our team, Audra Vaisbort. And we're here to have a little conversation so you get a feel for what it would be like to work with Audra and get a little bit of a feel for her story and her strengths. So thank you for chatting with me today, Audra.
Thank you.
And tell us what brought you to college counseling. Where were you before?
So earlier in my career, I worked in entertainment marketing for 20th Century Fox, doing product development for The Simpsons. And I just felt a calling to do something a little more meaningful. So I became a high school English teacher. And I got my undergraduate degree at Mount St. Mary's University in Los Angeles and my teaching credential and jumped into that world. And most recently, I worked as an assistant college counselor at a charter high school. And I just found a passion for helping high school students and their families through the college admissions process. And I just am merging kind of that background as a high school English teacher with the creativity of working with unique students and finding their path, and the administrative and organizational side of, being a college counselor.
Which is a huge, huge and important part, that organizational part, because they're teenagers. So English teacher, a lot of parents have a big concern about the college essay and what their child is going to sound like, and are there typos, and can we use contractions, and what are they gonna think if there's a comma out of place. So talk to me a little bit about essays and how you feel about helping teenagers express themselves and express their voice through their college essays.
Yes, so everybody has a story, and often they have lots of stories. And I just love drawing that out of students. A lot of times they're a little bit reluctant to share personal information or what they consider private information. And just getting to know students so that they feel comfortable, sharing these types of details with me, and me giving them assurance that they are using their voice appropriately for either the personal statement or the UC personal insight questions, which are very different,
Yep.
to the supplemental essays that these colleges, have and want to know, like, why does a student want to come here, and helping them discover, how to put all that information together and in a compelling way. So admissions officers read a lot of applications. So they just want to get to know a student and see, who is this person? And that piece of paper, that story is going to help admissions know who's applying. And just bringing that out of the student is the first job. But as much as I personally love writing, I love editing.
Yeah.
And I love looking at the structure of an essay or a personal statement, letting students be creative with that, because this isn't a high school paper.
Right.
This is a story, and this is sometimes the way you tell that story is going to look different. And, just letting them explore that and getting them comfortable with that. And I just reassure parents, I'm going to look at that with a fine-tooth comb. I'm going to offer all the guidance and expertise that I have. And if it is a good read for me, I feel confident it'll be a good read for admissions.
Yep. And this is actually a good time to remind people that one of the things that we do on our team is, you as the lead counselor will spend a lot of time with a student, as you said, help them draw their story out and write it. And towards the end of the process, when things are close to final, you might take that package of essays for a student and send them to another counselor on our team.
Yeah, that's the beauty of working with a team like Magellan, not just being isolated in my own office. I have also the expertise of 20 other or more counselors to avail myself of. And, everyone has their own experience and background, and being able to tap into that whenever I need it, or
Yep.
whenever anybody else needs it is
Yep.
really, I think, valuable. And it's, not everybody can offer that. So
Yep. Yep. So you have a lot of young people in your life. You have your own kids and you have stepkids. So give us a little bit of background on your
yeah,
families.
I have two daughters who are 6 and 8, who have not yet begun the college planning process.
So a little too early for them.
And I have a high school son
Yep.
who I am helping through that process. And I have an older son, a stepson, who graduated in 2022 from University of Chicago.
Right.
So already I can see the big differences between, my oldest son and my high school son. So their process and their college list are going to be completely different,
Yep.
because their interests are different and their academic strengths are different.
Yep.
So, and I know that, happens for families, all of their children are different.
Yep.
And what was easy and manageable for one is
Yep.
not true for another. So I can feel that and I can be there for them.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a call from a mom and she'll say, my daughter was so easy, but my son, oh, and it's almost like she's apologizing. And it's like, but they're different human beings, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So it's,
So I can appreciate that. And I just love that every student has their own unique story and needs and wish list, and coming up with that best fit colleges,
yeah,
is part of the joy of this whole thing, because I know most people, they know the top brand name schools either
right.
through headline news or
Yeah.
athletics on
Yeah.
television,
Right.
but there are so many out there. And whether you're chasing merit or you're an athlete or you have a specific program or major that you are interested in,
Yeah.
I love working on that with the families and
Yeah.
students.
Yeah. That list building is really, really important.
Yeah. Well, you say it. Magic is in the list, right?
Magic is in the list. Tell us a little bit more about your time in a high school, because I think that's an interesting experience that you bring to private clients.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think sometimes people think is when you hire an outside counselor, you don't need to worry about your school counselor.
Oh, no, the relationship between the student and the high school counselor or counseling office, depending
Right,
on, what resources a school has,
right,
is super important. And they take the lead on the whole process and the software and, everything that happens on that end in the high school
yeah,
world. And so as an independent counselor, working on the college list building and the essays and all of the other components is done outside of the high school, but also it's in tandem with
yeah,
the high school counseling office. And, the resources are very different at every school.
yeah,
And sometimes, like, I didn't have the benefit of a college counseling office at my high school,
yeah,
very small and rural. And there are a lot of other things that high school counselors have to deal with, whether it's registration for classes
yeah,
or discipline issues,
yeah,
social emotional,
yeah,
testing, it can be a lot of other things. But working with an independent counselor, I get to focus just on the college application process. So
right.
I get all that personal attention to that.
Right. But in the end, the school counselor has to deal with transcripts, has to deal with letters of recommendation.
Mhm.
Those are reasons that students must maintain, like you said, a positive relationship with their counseling
Yeah,
offices.
and having worked in a college counseling office, I was always happy to work with an outside consultant.
Right,
And, we just want the best for every student.
right,
So I find that they want that, I want that, and parents want that. Usually a
right.
student wants that.
We're all on the
So
same team.
yeah, we're all on the same team. We're all working together.
Super. Super fabulous. Well, thank you for spending a few minutes talking to me, and I hope people will get a feel for your personality and what it would be like to work with you. Thanks, Audra.
Thank you, Evelyn.